see him gaining position, but first he won't be last. He's ready to make a dash. Snail quicker than a lightning flash. He's in control and he's forward. He won't run out of gas. But Snail is fast. Snail is fast.
I'm a snail in the Indy 500.
Whoa! It's a miracle of nature!
What? Will the snail be crushed by the giant race cars?
That snail is fast.
All right, welcome back, ladies and diligentlemens, people of the world. Today, got special treats for you. Once again, this is going to be real interesting. We're going to see where this takes us. And we got lots to talk about. So I kind of have an outline, but I don't really know where I'm going to go with this because it's just such a voluminous amount of data that I'm going to share with you. And we're going to talk about spirals and the golden spiral of life and snails and the apple in the eye, lifting the veil, Jacob's ladder, all kinds of crazy, interesting stuff, all wrapped up, encoded into the DNA, where we break down the etymology of the words surrounding the naming of the genes. And so today, to get into it, let's just start off by introducing you, if you're not already aware, there's an organ in your body called the spiral organ, and it mimics everything in nature in relation to the golden spiral of life, which you've watched any of my previous recordings, you'll know that that is in fact a triskelion that forms the Archimedean spiral that is in fact the golden spiral of life. And so maybe I'll just show you that real quick before we delve into secrets. So that's clathrin, folks. If you're new, clathrin's a protein in your body. Pretty important, pretty big deal. Why? Because it allows cells to communicate, to transfer nutrients to import signaling receptors, to mediate an immune response after sampling the extracellular world, and to clean up cellular debris left by tissue inflammation. And this pathway can be hijacked by viruses and other pathogens in order to gain entry into the cell during infection. This clathrin protein, encoded by various genes in your body, forms the triskelion, one of the most ancient symbols known to man. And this triskelion forms what's known as the Archimedean spiral. And the Archimedean spiral, folks, forms the golden spiral of life. Here we go. And you've got an organ located in your ear that receives frequency, vibration, or sine waves. Sine waves. I saw the sign. Sine waves that receives the sine, which then transmits that signal, that sign, into the brain, which controls many bodily functions, if not all, because frequency determines physiology. And if you can control the geometry, you can control the biology. Sine waves, folks, triskelions, golden spirals. We're going to talk about snails, all kinds of cool stuff. I hope you're ready for this one. This is going to be good. Again, I don't really have it scripted. As you can see here, I've got several windows open with all kinds of data to show you. So I haven't really chose which I'm going to show you and what I'm not going to show you. We're just going to see where this goes, because there is a plethora of information surrounding this that I hope I can communicate to you in a clear and concise manner. And so I may need to pause this recording in various spots so that I can try to stay on track, because I've gone down and we're going to go down lots of rabbit holes. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. All right, let me make sure I'm sharing my sound here with y'all. And let's explore the organ of Corti, the snail.
The organ of Corti is located in the cochlea, a spiral, three-chambered, snail-like structure within a bony matrix. The organ of Corti extends from the anterior part of the vestibule and coils for about 2.5 turns around a bony pillar called the modiolus. In cross-section is the scala media. This houses the organ of Corti, which is referred to as the receptor organ of hearing. The scala media is filled with endolymph. The scala media includes structures from the tectorial membrane, basilar membrane, and hair cells, which sense the mechanical forces.
Let me pause that right there. Mechanical forces. They call that the stereocilia. Cilia are little tiny little hair-like things that convert mechanical forces into biological signals. In other words, you know, we as humans, obviously we can't sense every single frequency on the spectrum in relation to hearing or sight. And so these stereocilia located in the ear transfer that signal. Even though you may not be able to hear it, it still is picking it up. It transfers that signal, mechanical forces, into biological signals, my friends, is what they call piezo electricity. And yes, you've got a piezo gene. If you've seen my other videos, you know this. Piezoelectricity, piezo 1 gene converts mechanical forces into biological signals.
There are two kinds of hair cells, inner and outer hair cells. 95% of the afferent fibers are from the inner hair cells. Outer hair cells receive mostly efferent input. The filamentous structures that connect the tips of adjacent stereocilia are known as tip links. These are thought to amplify the forces in the area of the molecular sensors. How does sound enter the cochlea? Compression hits the tympanic membrane, causing the stapes to transfer force to the oval window.
Pause there for a second. Stapes. We're going to talk about stapes, okay? And what that means, what that literally translates to, the etymology of stapes. We're going to find out real quick. I'll give you a little clue. It means stirrup. And they named it stapes because it looks like a stirrup, as in a stirrup when you put on a horse, when you climb up and climb down. Oh, you're going to find out what I mean in just a minute.
From there, sound moves to the round window. High frequencies are encoded at the base, and low frequencies at the apex. It is this property that leads to the tonotopic map along the basilar membrane. The manner in which the basilar membrane vibrates in response to sound is the key to understanding cochlear function. The hair cells are located between the tectorial and basilar membranes and are stimulated by the shearing force between the two caused by the pivot point of the two membranes. The apical portion of the hair cell is bathed in high potassium solution, and the base of the hair cell is bathed in potassium pore solution. This establishes that potassium flow through the cell is used for both depolarization, potassium in at the apex, and repolarization, potassium out at the base.
So in other words, what they're saying is this whole area is high in potassium, which is an essential mineral for electrolytes. Electrolytes meaning energy. But you'll also see here, which I'll show you in just a moment, these areas are also rich in chloride and also sodium. So sodium potassium chloride channels impact the function of the spiral in a great way. I'll show you more later.
Of the hair cell. The hair cells convert vibrations into neural impulses sent to the brain. Your brain then interprets these nerve impulses as sound.
Boom. Well, that's pretty interesting. We've got a part of your body shaped like a snail. We've got snail genes also. And the etymology of the cochlea is Latin for snail shell. Well, that's pretty interesting. So what is with the cochlea here? It's a spiral-shaped cavity in the bony labyrinth. The labyrinth. A core component of the cochlea is the organ of Corti, the sensory organ of hearing. We're going to get to that in a minute. Talking about spirals and snail shells and whatnot. So the function, the cochlea is filled with a watery liquid, the endolymph, which moves in response to the vibrations coming from the middle ear to the oval window. As the fluid moves, the cochleal partition and base, blah, 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 moves thousands of hair cells. Those are your cilia, your cellular antennas, okay, that move electrical signals, and they're communicated via neurotransmitters to many thousands of nerve cells. You are one big hydroelectric unit at your core. So then it goes on and talks about action potentials and whatnot, and they mentioned the stapes right here. Stapes meaning stirrup, right there. You see that? It's a stirrup-shaped bone, as they're calling it here. See that? That's what the bone looks like. But let me show you something. Over here, they're talking about, when we type in the etymology of stapes, yes, it means stirrup. But let me see if I can find out where it's going to show you from the New Latin stirrup, stapes. Let me see if I can find this again. Here we go. Step or stirrup. Both the words mean a ladder to go up and down. To go up and down. Let me see if I can find this. Talking about ascension and descension, folks. Ascension and descension. Up and down. Let me see if I can find this for you real quick. So from stapes, we get stirrup, which means ladder. There it is. A portable, flexible ladder-like device used to climb. So stapes means stirrup, and stirrup means ladder. Could that be a Jacob's ladder? I don't know. I'm just looking at words here, folks. Let me see if I can find something for you. I present to you Jacob's ladder, the stapes, the stirrup, the ladder. Ascending and descending on a ladder. Frequency, vibration, flowing through the organ of Corti, the snail, the golden spiral, hitting the stapes, the ladder. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So here's a picture of what's going on in the cochlea with ampulla, amplitude, all kinds of stuff going down. And so, let's see here. So the stapes, let's focus in on that for a brief moment. When we're looking up genes associated with stapes or the ladder, what's the first gene we see? It's called noggin, as in your noggin. So that sound comes through that organ of Corti, that snail, hits the ladder, and then hits your noggin. Okay, noggin. The second gene down, folks, if you've seen my other posts, maybe I'll just briefly look into this real quick for you as well. Pow, boom, bang, pow. What does pow mean? Etymology, pow. That means the well or the pit. Go back and watch one of the videos I did on the well and the pit. We're talking about the pituitary in the well, which makes reference to the fountain, the land under the wave, all connected here. But we see this gene here has brain number 4. Okay, brain number 4. And noggin. Noggin, y'all. That's some pretty important stuff going on here. Okay, so that's interesting in and of itself. Then down here we've got this Aya transcription factor. Okay, what's the Aya mean? Aya, etymology. What's the first thing we see? From the nest. Also translated into eye. Also, apple of my eye. Well, that's pretty interesting. They're mentioning genes named after apples in the eye, related to the ladder, connected to the organ of Corti, apple in your eye. I would submit to you folks, the real apple in your eye is, in fact, the organ of Corti. Okay? The organ of Corti. There it is. The spiral organ, located in your ear, involved with mechanotransduction, converts mechanical stimuli into electrochemical activity for touch, balance, hearing, and much, much, much more. Molecular motors. Critical importance of molecular mechanics as a new frontier in bioengineering and life sciences. Bioengineering, life sciences. Stapes, your noggin, your well, the apple of your eye. Ushering in, usher in, usher in. Ushering in what? You see that other gene down there? That's the ushering gene. What are they ushering in? Usher in, etymology. I ain't even looked this up yet. A doorman, a porter, an usher, What are they ushering in? Who's the doorman? What is the doorman? You got to go through the door to get to the ladder. You see what's going on here with the naming of genes? You see that? Usher syndrome, involved with stereocilia in the cochlear hair cells, required for the maintenance of. So you've got to maintain the door, apparently. Okay, involved with photoreceptors. Talking about apples in the eye. I would submit to you that apple is not in your eye. Okay, can I prove that? Let me see if I can find this real quick. Apple in the eye. The eardrums move when the eyes move. A multisensory effect on the mechanics of hearing. The eardrums move when the eyes move. So then when the eyes move, the eardrums also move. You see that? Apple in your eye is not in your eye. It's in your ear. And so I posed this question months ago to people, and I asked, would you rather be blind or deaf? And about 99% of people said they'd rather be deaf than blind. And so I would submit to you, I believe that hearing is more important than eyesight. And what's the Bible say about eyes? Plucking out your eyes. Hold on, let me find that real quick. Pluck out your eyes. Pluck out your eye, Matthew. And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out. I don't hear nothing about plucking out ears. I'd say that your ears are more important than your eyes. You understand? The ears are more important than the eyes because of this organ of Corti, apple of your eye, golden spiral located in your ear, connected to ladders, the stapes, ushering in some doors, connected to eyes. Okay, what's Iya mean? Aya. Aya, etymology, ancient Sanskrit. There's all kinds of stuff around this. The all-seeing eye. You see where I'm going with this? Where's this eye located? Okay. And again, we've got snail genes as well. Now, why are they naming genes after snails if the snail is not a representation of the spiral organ? Okay. Snail, homolog. Important. Very important. Because it crosstalks with this gene right here, which let me take just a brief moment and explain to you the function of CBX5. CBX5, folks, CBX5. Let me give you a little example here. And this is not medical advice. This is for research and informational purposes only. Watch what I do here. Autism, number 1 gene, MECP2. MECP2, folks. Watch what I do here. Let's connect some dots. You ready? These are called interactive DNA string networks, where we're literally going to connect some dots. MECP5. The red nodes are the most important here. And just briefly, why? Because they are the first shell interactor. In other words, the red nodes control the function. of whichever gene you're looking at. We're looking at autism, MECP2 being the #1 gene. Therefore, CBX5 becomes more important at regulating, okay? And not only that, associated with this, y'all, is a YY1. What's YY1? Who can tell me what YY1 gene is? Oh, watch this. This is the yin and the yang gene, folks, otherwise known as delta. Delta. This is not even scripted. There's so many things I need to show you. Delta, etymology. Watch this. Delta, etymology. Alpha, beta, delta, gamma. It's all Greek to me. All Greek to me. Oh, why are they naming it delta after yin and yang, folks? Why are they naming it delta? Oh, where was that at? Delta is the fourth brightest star. Where did I find that at? There we go. Delta is the fourth brightest star in the constellation. What's the fourth brightest star in the constellation? Fourth brightest star in the sky. Arcturus. Arcturus, folks. And where is Arcturus located? Where is Arcturus located? In the constellation of what I like to say, Boots. Boots, folks, Boots. That's where it's located. Boots constellation. Boots constellation, meaning herdsman, plowman, ox driver. Okay. It contains the fourth brightest star in the night sky, Arcturus. Arcturus, folks. And what's the history behind this fourth brightest star in the sky? In ancient Babylon, the stars of Boots, Boets, however you want to say it. It's all phonetics after all. The star of Boots was known as Shupa. They were apparently depicted as the god Enlil, who was the leader of the Babylonian pantheon and special patron of farmers. So, am I to believe that the yin and the yang is associated with Enki and Enlil? That's pretty interesting, to say the least. Arcturus is depicted as leading the hunting dogs. I'm not going to go into Arcturus right now. That's the story for another time. Another myth associated with it is that of Icarius. Yeah, you've got Icarius genes, folks, who was schooled as a grape farmer and winemaker. Oh, can you say resveratrol? Oh, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Talking about wolves, I've already talked about this in other recordings. The Sirius star, the dog star, the bear watcher. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff. Just riddled all throughout here. In fact, let me show you something else here real quick while I'm on the subject. I might be getting a little off track here. PAHs, polycyclic hydrocarbons, folks. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Let me show you something. These PAHs, as they are called, PAHs, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, are discussed as the possible starting materials required for the earliest forms of life. You. Boy, that looks like a carbon C60 molecule, which clathrin, aka triskelion, forms in the body. What else does it say here? Oh, it's talking about getting it from peat bogs. Where's that down here? Sources and distribution. Okay. As with anything in life, it's all about balance, because they're talking about human exposure to some of this stuff, as in, smog. Obviously, that's not going to be good for you. You don't want to breathe in smog. But it's also talking about extracting them from peat bogs. And, volcanic eruptions and all kinds of stuff surrounding this. Historical significance. Okay. Where does it say here? Developmental, let's see, origins of life. I'm going to show you something in a minute, how I'm connecting the dots here for you. Origins of life, polycyclic hydrocarbons connected to boots. How? So C60 molecules, polycyclic hydrocarbons, are connected to what? Vital in the formation of early life on Earth, quote unquote, a step along the path towards amino acids and nucleotides, the raw materials of proteins and DNA. Wow. That's pretty interesting. Why am I even talking about this? Now look it over here. Chicken wire, folks. Chicken wire. That is a buckyball. That's a buckyball, folks. Why am I even mentioning this? Because it's connected to the organ of Corti. Buckyball. Buckyball. Clathrin. Triskelions. Golden spirals of life. Organ of Corti. Mechanotransduction. Piezoelectricity. Okay, chicken wire. That is a Buckminster fullerene. Chicken wire associated with polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, necessary for the formation of life and galaxies and stars and planets. Talking about buckyballs and nebula. Fullerenes are implicated in the origins of life. You can go out and buy a C60 molecule, or you can produce it yourself. Let me show you something. So if clathrin forms the triskelion and the triskelion forms the buckyball, and I've shown this before, mannose forms clathrin. Mannose 6-phosphate, which requires mannose, which is the mannose 6-phosphate receptors, regulate the formation of clathrin. Mannose regulates the buckyball, folks. Mannose. Etymology is mannose. Etymology, folks. Check it out. Mannose, etymology. The root of mannose is manna, from which the Bible records as a food supplied. The manna from heaven forms the buckyball needed for the origins of life. You understand? You see what I see? If you see what I see and you feel what I feel. For those who don't know, that was a reference to the Matrix movie. Or excuse me, no, that was V for Vendetta. You see what I see and you feel what I feel. So what the heck am I even talking about polycyclic hydrocarbons for, folks? Why am I even mentioning that? Oh, let's see here. In galaxies, spiral galaxy. What? Spiral galaxy. Talk about snails. The organ of Corti, your spiral organ. See that? Has been found to have high amounts of PAHs. Where's that at? In the constellation of Boots, nonetheless. Boots. Dwarf galaxies. Go back and watch my video on dwarfs. Your genes are riddled. There's a couple genes, nanos and pomilio genes. Literally translate into dwarf. You see what I see? Connected to the yin and the yang, folks. Delta, fourth largest, brightest star in the sky. The yin and the yang. You see what I see? You guys having fun yet? All right. So, delta, beta, gamma. What else does delta mean? A change to a set of programs. A change or set of changes made to a file or program. Especially as part of an update to a later version. Wow. Are they changing the program through delta? Boots? Enki Enlil? What the heck? Snails and spirals? Are they hijacking the spiral? Are they hijacking the spiral? Are they hijacking the spiral? Let me show you what I mean here. Back to Clathrin. Hijacking the spiral. This triskelion, this Clathrin pathway can be hijacked. Are they hijacking the spiral, folks? I'm gonna say a big yes. That's a big yippers. That is one big yippers. Okay. And so apples in your eye, connected to organs of Corti. Okay. What else can I show you here? Snails. Let's look at the snail for a minute. CBX5. Let's look at this other one. LOX2. LOX2 with an alias of lore. This is lysyl oxidase, essential for the biogenesis of connected tissue, copper dependent. Boy, copper transduces energy. You got copper wires all throughout your house, don't you? Yes, you do. Copper dependent to transduce energy. What's the etymology, folks? That's what we're talking about here. The etymology of genes, etymology of lore. Of those. Of who? Of who? What? What they talking about here? Of those there, to them, dirty, at the time of an event, at the same time, then, now, then, at the time, during a period of time, north, as in north gate, as in northern wind, as in aurora borealis, as in aurora kinase, aurora kinase. Let me show you that real quick. Aurora kinase. Here we go. Aurora kinase A. Aurora kinase A. Involved with oocyte meiosis. That's how cells divide, folks. Okay, critical role in cellular division when that sperm hits the egg. Aurora connected to northern winds. Okay, Aurora kinase. We spell that right? Aurora borealis. The northern light. Okay, and let me just show you this real fast while we're on the subject. Aurora borealis and the dragon and the phoenix. You see that? That's a dragon, folks. That happened one day. They took a picture of it, and then the very next day, the phoenix showed up. Northern winds, northern gates, phoenix. Okay, phoenixes, dragons. Very next day, the phoenix showed up. Giant phoenix capturing a stunning aurora borealis. Oh, dragons and phoenix connected to lores, northern lights. Lore also means gold. Wow. Gold, folks. As in the golden spiral, folks. Golden spiral. Golden spiral. Gold. Spirals in nature. Spiral galaxies. The golden angle connected to the organ of Corti, located in the cochlea, which is your spiral organ. Having fun yet? All right. So the cochlea, which is where the spiral organ is located. What's the genes? What's the etymology? There we see Aya again. Same gene as the other one we just looked at, folks. Aya. Aya. Look at that. Salute carrier family protein. There it is. Eva. That's etymology. That's an alias. Why are they naming this gene Eva? Associated with the cochlea in relation to the spiral organ. Should we find out? Eva, life or living one. Life or living one. Number one gene associated with the cochlea, located where the spiral organ is, folks, where they're ushering indoors and talking about stepping up and stepping down with ladders and such, with bones that look like stirrups. You see what I see? Eva. Let's look at this for a minute. And if you connected to Eva to Eve, wife of Adam. So now we're talking about apples in your eye, connected to Adam and Eve, connected to the spiral organ. You see that? Oh, this is good. It's getting good. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. So what happens when we look up the word cortin, as in the organ of corti? Cortin, cortisol, corti, corti, corti. Corti, corti, corti. Okay, this is what led me on this rabbit hole to begin with, because you've got genes in your body that all have this common theme surrounding them with the use of the word corti or cortin or cortisol or all kinds of stuff. And the word corti is from cortana or cortina, meaning curtain, cauldron, enclosure. Curtain, cortin. You see, it's all phonetics. It's all words, folks, all about words. And so the sophostrophy of language is the first tool of the adversary, as they say. And if you can make words mean so many different things, as Alice said, who is to be master? That is all. The point being, words mean stuff. And if it sounds the same, it's probably the same. Okay, courtin, court, enclosure. Okay, the high court, the curtain, unveiling the curtain, the unveiling of the curtain. Folks, the unveiling of the curtain. And what about curtains? The sacred curtain, separating the holies of holies from the sanctuary. And I'll show you what I think the Holy of Holies is. Stretches out over the heavens as a curtain. Could this be a reference to some sort of heavenly body, as they say? Intermittent spiral galaxies being curtains. Talking about veils and curtains here, folks. Veils, the Holy of Holies. And so in your body, you've got what they call the DCN, as it's termed. I wasn't going to go here, but the DCN stands for dorsal cochlear, as in cochlea, as in that's where your spiral organ is located. Okay, your DCN. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick. Dorsal, there it is, dorsal cochlear nucleus, also known as the tuberculum acousticum. Now, using language procedure, what is a tuber? These are separate words here, folks. First of all, it's pretty clear that the word acoustum can be associated with acoustic. Acoustic, as in sound. Column can be associated with column, as in your spinal column. Okay? And tuber means pipe or hollow space. It also means potato and whatnot. Right? Tuber. Let me see if I can show you this real quick. Tuber, where am I going with this? Tuber, etymology of tuber. Tuber, etymology, hump or swelling. What else does it mean? Oh, let's see, the stem of a plant. Tube, tube, tuber, from tube. From tube. Where did it go here? Means pipe, hollow tube. Okay. Inner tube means pipe. Okay. Also means wanker, excuse my French, asshole or dickhead. That's if you're French or you're, excuse me, Scottish. Well, you Scots got a pretty funny way of communicating. But the word tube, what I'm trying to point out to you, means tube, hollow pipe. And what can we see? Micro tubal, tuber, that, my friends, is a hollow pipe. Microtubal. The DCN, tuber column acousticum. The microtubal column acoustic, DCN. Now, this may be speculation that this is, in fact, the Holy of Holies. But I think I'm onto something here. Okay? Because this area located in your body connects to your cerebrum, which is connected to the hypothalamus and pituitary, from which the colostrum, if you've watched my other videos, the colostrum that is secreted, otherwise known as the oil, the Christos, is connected to this dorsal cochlear nucleus, this DCN, which is connected to the apple of your eye, which is not in your eye, it's in your ear. It's called the spiral organ. And through this spiral organ flows this fluid that connects to the cerebrum, which then secretes this Christos down your column. Your column, spinal column. And located, first of all, your ear is also known as the auricle. Let me show you this. The auricle is the ear. Let's see here, auricle. Auricle. That's your ear, folks. Auricle. The auricle is your ear. So you get the sine or the sine wave that comes into the auricle that flows into the organ of Corti, known as your spiral organ, or snail, or triskelion, or golden spiral of life, that hits your stapes bone, which is your ladder, your stirrup, your ladder for the ascension and descension, which is connected to some veil, making references to Adam and Eve with the apple in your eye, which flows into what's called your foramina. 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 Let's see here. Did I spell that right? Foramina. Passage. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find that again. Your foramina. Let's see here. I might have lost it. Let me find that again real quick for you. So there we have it. It's called foramen, not foramina. Excuse me. And the foramen are essentially passageways. One could say a gate. That's not too far of a stretch here because these are holes. Means to pierce. Pierce the veil. And the foramen allow for very important ligaments and nerves like the vagus nerve and things like that to be attached to the brain. Okay? So the foramen are the passageways. You see? That connect the spinal cord, the column, to very important functions of the brain and essentially the spiral organ. Right? So you see all these nerves would be coming through here that are associated. So from the ladder, the veil, the gate, we get to the dorsal cochlear nucleus, the Holy of Holies, which is connected to cerebral spinal fluid. And this other fluid that secretes from this spiral organ called the perilymph fluid, associated with stereocilia, your cellular antenna. And so the hole goes pretty deep here. So what I'm trying to explain here is that there's references all throughout the genes in association with the spiral organ, snails, spiral galaxies, making references to boots, yin and yang, delta, fourth largest sky, curtains, veils, Adam and Eve, all kinds of stuff. Okay? This stuff gets pretty wild. Pretty cray-cray, if I may. And so if we're looking at the spiral organ, development and growth, as it says, of the organ of Corti or spiral organ relies on specific genes, which may be identified as these ones right here. So let's just look at some of these here. Let's take GATA. GATA binding protein. The word GATA. You see that? GATA. GATA. Snake, serpent, coconut, milk. As I've described before in previous videos, myristic acid that is in coconut milk modifies piezoelectricity via piezo1 gene, which converts mechanical forces into biological signals. Myristic acid located in coconut, GATA. It would appear that the snake or serpent may be trying to hijack the signal. You see that? Because GATA3 apparently is important for the function of the development of this spiral organ, the golden spiral. Coconut milk and serpents, y'all. What else do we see here? Oh, we got Aya, which we've already looked at, which is associated with Adam and Eve. Aya, Eva from Aya. Okay, living one, life, Eva, associated with Aya1 gene, as we've previously discussed. And then we've got Fox G1, which has the alias of Quinn. Now, for those who are saying, boy, this guy's pretty nuts, where's he getting this from? I would say to you, which one of these does not look like the other? Brain factor 2, brain factor 1. associated with the organ of Corti, the spiral organ. Why does that belong there? It has nothing to do with any kind of abbreviation of such at all whatsoever. At all. It does not belong there. That is not an abbreviation for 4K box G1. Okay. And so when we're looking up the etymology of quin, as it's called, it literally means China. And if you've looked at my previous posts about the guardian lions that have their paw on the flower of life, sacred geometry that protect the secret knowledge in the forbidden city of China. But we see here also that it means Sina, or is that sine wave? Sina means treasure. Sina also means sine, as in sine wave. Where's it at here? Sine. I saw the sign. There it is. From the word sine, as in sine wave, y'all. Sine wave. Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai. Sine. From quin. From quin. They're talking about sound waves. Mount Sinai. Sound waves. Quin. Associated with China. Associated with forbidden city. Ancient secret knowledge revealed. Stuff gets pretty crazy. I've got all kinds of notes, pages and pages of this stuff. Right? What else can I show you? BMP4, folks. Bone morphogenic protein 4. Bone morphogenic protein 4. Type that in. Second one down is your noggin. Yet again. Did you guys bump your head? Oh, we got Gremlin down here. Gremlin 1, folks. Gremlin 1. I might look at that in a minute. Bone morphogenic protein 4, necessary for the development and growth of the spiral organ, your apple in your eye. Bone morphogenic protein 4. Coming in with an alias that does not belong there yet again. Which one stands out is the question you need to ask yourself. Clearly, this does not belong here. How is ZYME an acronym for bone morphogenic protein? I'm sure there's some medical reason, but let's dive a little deeper. Zyme means leaven. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. What's a lump? A mound, as we discussed earlier. A hill or a mound, a lump. A little leaven leavens the whole lump. In other words, could disrupt the incoming frequency. A little leaven disrupts the incoming frequency. Okay? Little leaven leavens the whole lump here, folks. Little leaven messes with the lump. Pretty outstanding. Pretty incredible. Can't make this stuff up. Then, of course, we've got rack 1, necessary for the development of the growth of the organ corti yet again. Rack 1, rack. Etymology of rack. Cancer. All kinds of associations with mythologies surrounding Cancer, the constellation, associated with crab and crab apples, apple in your eye, organ of Corti. What else? Homer, as in Homer's Odyssey. But what else? Talking about spruce trees and lobsters. What about spruce trees? What does spruce tree primarily have that is beneficial for health? Okay. That is called pine sap, y'all. Pine sap for what? The pineal gland. Pine sap and pineal. Pine sap and pineal. Okay. Pine and pineal. Talking about spruce trees. Spruce trees and health. Spruce trees. Spruce Health Incorporated. I just gave them a plug. Okay, there's a compound found within pine, terpenoids, primarily, that impact terpenoids. Did I spell that right? No, it's an E. Terpenoids. One of the primary things for the pineal gland. Okay, terpentines. Terpentines for the pineal, for the well, for the pit, pituitary, pineal. You see this? Why are they mentioning spruce trees as one of the definitions of rack associated with crab apples? So turpentine is amazing for the brain. Just amazing for the brain. What else can I show you? So just to apologize to you, I'm having to pause and come back because I'd like to stay on track and bring you a clear and concise message here. And so in order to do that, I've got to rearrange my thought process because I got a bunch of stuff crammed in here that needs to come out. So we're talking about sound waves and frequencies and lifting the veil and the apple in the eye and Jacob's ladder and spiral organs and golden spirals of life and piezoelectricity and snail genes and Adam and Eve and constellations and fourth brightest stars and Boots and Enki and Enlil. Okay, you can imagine how that might be a little bit difficult to communicate to you. However, I'm doing my best here. A crucial piece to this cochlear amplification is a motor protein called prestin. Prestin. Presto changeo, if you will. So prestin is encoded by a gene, SLC, salute carrier family protein 2685. Salute carrier family protein 2685. 2685. Why is that important? Pretty big deal. This is the main molecular motor that transfers that signal. You hear me? Motor protein that converts auditory stimuli to the outer hair cells that mediate sound amplification. It's bidirectional voltage converter. It can operate at microsecond rates. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, folks. It uses voltage sensors, probably chloride and bicarbonate. Chloride and bicarbonate. It's also inhibited by this right here, which I'm about to show you. Ancient secret mysteries revealed. What is that, folks? Salicylic acid. Did I pronounce that right? Probably not. Where do you get that acid from? Where do you get that acid from? Oh, willow bark. Willow bark, folks. This remedy is mentioned in texts from ancient Egypt to Sumer to Assyria. Do you think they knew something we didn't? Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. What else does it do? What else does it do? All kinds of cool stuff here. Oh, let's see. Found in plants with roles in plants' growth and development, photosynthesis, ion uptake and transport. So it has to do with the growth of plants, photosynthesis, the uptake of photon energy, and ionic transmembrane exchange. Okay. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you to take these things. This is not medical advice. Please consult your healthcare provider. I'm just showing you where the trail leads, if you will. Preston. Preston. Where do you suppose they got this name from? Preston, etymology. Etymology. Because why? Because words mean shit. Pardon my French. From the priest's farm. What farm do you suppose that is? Could that be a garden? Could that be a Garden of Eden? Preston. Preston is from the priest's farm. The priest's farm. That's pretty interesting. Pretty darn interesting. What else can I show you? Oh, let's see here. What other nuggets I got for you today in relation to spiral organs, golden spirals of life, triskelions, the snail who won the race, the apple in your eye, lifting the veil, Jacob's ladder. Lot going on here. Priest farms, references to Adam and Eve, gardens and apples. Riddled, my friends, all throughout the etymology of the genes. Now, located within this organ of Corti, they mention the endolymph and the perilymph fluid. Okay. And this has to do with motion sickness and all kinds of stuff here. But associated with this labyrinth, remember it's a labyrinth, okay, this maze, they mention a dark cell. See also dark cell. You've got dark cells? That's pretty interesting, to say the least. So what's going on with this dark cell? Dark cell regions of the vestibular system are involved in active energy-consuming ion transport to maintain usual endolymph composition. In other words, dark cells use sodium-potassium pumps in order to transport sodium. Dark cells consume energy stealers, siphoning energy. Associated with mitochondria and ATP. Okay? Dark cells steal the energy. Okay? And so we see a gene mentioned here. Let's see what we can find out about said gene with dark cells. Salute carrier family protein, NKCC1, the dorsal horn neuron. Oh, we're not going to go there today. How about, what's it called? Oh, Adam, where are you when I need you, buddy? Ammonon's horns, I believe is what they're called. Let me see if I can find that for you real quick here. There we go. Back on track. Ammon's horn, associated with the ram, the horns of the ram, involved with the limbic system. All kinds of stuff surrounding this, y'all. Mythology. Surrounded by the horn. Did I spell that right? No, I did not. The horns of Ammon were a symbol of Egyptian deity. Ammon is also spelled Ammon or Amen. Associated with the fossil shells of ancient snails. Ancient snails, y'all. You see that? Do you see that? Ancient snails. What the heck? Talking about horns and snails. Dark cells, energy stealers. Plays a vital role in the regulation of ionic balance and cell volume. Electrically silent transport system. Okay. Talk about horns and snails now. And so this horn, this dark cell associated with the organ, the spiral organ, requires bicarbonate and chloride. Bicarbonate and chloride. You see that? Let's just take a look at this here. SLC1A6. Glutamate, removal of glutamate. Glutamate excitotoxicity does humongous damage in the brain. Humongous damage. Associated with the malfunction of GABA receptors. So chloride transport impacts GABA receptors in the brain, which impact all neurotransmission, which impact how that signal is coming in. You see that? Do you see that? What else we got? What about these dark cells? Dark cells. Apparently they're involved with the guardian of the genome. Guardian of the genome. What else is a guardian? Guardian lions in the Forbidden City. Guardian of the genome. Spell that right? The guardian of the genome. P53. Involved with dark cells and spiraling organs, folks. And apparently guardian lions, because if you remember that QIN means China. And how about these guardian lions in China? Guardian lions in China, folks. I've mentioned this in previous videos. They were the secrets, the secret keepers. You see that? That's the flower of life, a representation of the golden spiral or triskelion at its manifestation. In the Forbidden City, the keeper of secrets, associated with the lynx and the sphinx. Lynx and the sphinx. Lynx were the secret keepers, okay? Secret of forbidden knowledge. Lynx mythology, let's move that. Mythology, folks. Keeper of secrets. Cats, lions, Egypt. Why did Egyptians love cats so much? Why? Because they had supernatural eyesight, capable of seeing through solid objects. Talking about piercing the veil there much? Piercing the veil? You understand? So, I think that's probably enough for you guys today. Talk about oracles and spiral organs and guardian lions and the ancient secret mysteries involved with amplitude of the apple of the eye. You see, all of this can be backed up through combing and sifting, doing our diligence, if you will, in comparing this type of data and information with solid scientific studies found in research. Okay? So that's what we do here at DNA Diligence, and I just want to thank you for joining me yet again, and I hope to see you soon. I've got all kinds of data to bring for you, to bring out to the world, and it is my utmost hope that you pray about this. All things are connected from the macro to the micro. We are fearfully, wonderfully made. There is a duality going on at every single step of the way. And in order to be in between the yin and the yang, we need to stay neutral in all things. Remember that. Because whatever's going on inside of us is also going on in the heavenly bodies, as clearly displayed here today, yet again. Fourth brightest star, Delta Yin Yang, associated with boots, Enki Enlil. You telling me that they're not encoding secret hidden knowledge in the genome? Yes, they are. And we're here, my group, we're here to show you these things, but more importantly, to bring remedies to the world based on this hardcore scientific knowledge, so that we can get back to the way we were intended to be, that perfect creation before the fall, so that we can recover the apple in our eye and get back to that perfect garden that's currently being guarded with flaming swords. Apparently, I haven't found out what the flaming sword is yet. I have an idea though. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Much love, y'all. Make it a wonderful week. We'll see you back soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the living crap out of this information. These are the best kept secrets in the entire history of our creation. Best kept secrets coming to you. Much love.